Hi guys, I'm Erin Bratcher. I'm the owner of EB Athletics, which is a strength and conditioning facility for high school and college athletes in Raleigh, North Carolina. I also am the strength and conditioning coach for Meredith College, which is an all-girls D3 school in downtown Raleigh. And I also do some strength and conditioning for Cardinal Gibbons High School and a few other places. To be a strength and conditioning coach, the basics of my education are a bachelor's in kinesiology and then a master's in exercise science with some concentrations in corrective exercise and performance enhancement. The master's isn't necessarily necessary. It's helped me get some of the positions I have, but I also have several certifications, and some of those are necessary. The CSCS, so that's a certified strength and conditioning specialist. That is necessary to work with NCAA athletes. So to do any work with colleges, and high schools usually prefer that too, the CSCS is important. It's a pretty tough exam. I had to study for quite a bit. So that I took after grad school, and then I got a couple other certifications through my grad school program. So the corrective exercise specialist, performance enhancement specialist, basically just saying I can work with athletes, help them become better athletes, and I can work with injured populations and help them kind of recover. I did take a couple internships when I was in college, kind of bounced all over the field, but some from the coaching side, some from more of a biomechanical side, just to get a feel for like which area would be best fit for me. I was a college athlete, high school athlete. I played professional for a while as well, but I think it was in college that I decided kind of to take this route. And, I studied kinesiology in undergrad, which is a very broad topic. You can be an athletic trainer, physical therapist, a lot of things with that background. So I studied that not knowing exactly what direction I wanted to go. And then as I got more into strength and conditioning as an athlete, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed learning about it. And I decided this was something I could do after graduating. When I initially started, I was actually still playing. So I played professional basketball after college overseas. I played in Germany in the Bundesliga. And after, throughout playing there, right, it's a 10-month season. So I'd have 2 or 3 months off. I would come home and start like working as a strength and conditioning coach in the summer and the off seasons. And at first, when I started, I didn't have many credentials. I had my bachelor's degree, but I didn't have many certifications. I was still just kind of learning and like shadowing someone that was pretty good at the job. So that's what really sparked my interest. I thought it was really exciting, really interesting, and made me want to go get more education on the topic, and made me start considering wanting to do this like for myself on my own. I did have kind of a unique job path. Like I said, I was working for someone who I consider my mentor throughout my time playing, because I would do this in the off seasons. And then when I finished playing, his gym was no longer open. It had been bought out by someone else. So I came back and I worked for the person that bought out his gym, and I did that for a couple years, and it was a lot of the same athletes that I'd been training before, and a lot of familiar faces. And then when COVID hit, that gym took a pretty hard hit. Everything kind of closed down, as you guys know. Everything closed down for a while, and that's when I decided I can just work for my own and kind of make this split. I started out in a field, literally just working in a park, and I had a small group of kids that started inviting their friends and started inviting their teammates, and then I had a big enough group that getting a bigger space was necessary. So I ended up finding a gym space indoors. And that's how filing an LLC and creating the business just kind of came naturally, because I had such a big following. And working at the colleges and the high schools kind of came as a natural part of that too, because I knew athletes that were playing there, or this and that, and it all just kind of came together nicely. My favorite part of this role actually is probably something that I wouldn't have said in the beginning when I was getting into this. But now I can definitely say is the relationships. You really get to know each athlete on an individual level. You get to build relationships and learn what's going on in their life, what matters, what's important to them. There's a lot more than just coming in the gym and getting stronger physically. There's a lot of mental aspects, emotional aspects to it. So getting to understand what's going on in these athletes' lives and watching them grow and develop. Now I've had athletes that I've literally had from when they were 14 and now they're seniors in college. And it's just really cool to see them develop and see what who they become, as people and as individuals, and watch them handle different adversity that's thrown at them along the way, and just kind of work through those things and kind of be a safe space for them throughout, kind of be an outlet for them, be someone they can come to, but also just come and ignore their problems and kind of get away from them for a little while and have that release. So that's been really cool. It's an interesting role to play and the lives of these athletes, and most of them don't go on to play professionally. Some of them do, but most of them don't. So you get to kind of follow with them and kind of be that resource for them throughout life, and try to create this interest in just living a healthy lifestyle, whether they're playing sports or not. Teaching them how to take care of their bodies, and it's nice because they'll continue to come back to you. They'll continue to keep in touch and ask you questions and lean on you when they need to, and that has been really cool and rewarding. I would say my least favorite part is the administrative piece, the logistics. Not running your own business means you have to do everything on the back end too. So the books every day, and occasionally there's emails and articles or whatever else you have to write up and do that is just part of the job. It's not what you enjoy doing. There's a lot of paperwork and taxes and all those kinds of things, which are just headaches, but it is part of the job. It's a small part of the job. The rest of the job makes it worth it, so it's not a huge deal. I will say I'm in a unique position because I work in both the private industry and the public with like the schools and stuff. And there's one main difference in those two spaces. The private industry, so my gym, EB Athletics, everyone that comes there wants to be there and they want to work with me and they want to get better, and they already have that drive and that dedication, which is really nice and really refreshing when you're working with athletes. That's the number one thing, because it's not coachable. They have to kind of come in with that. When you're working at a school or you're hired by someone else to train a team, not necessarily everybody wants to be there. Some of the kids are just there because they have to be. They're on the team and they don't actually like lifting weights. They don't actually want to be there and do your program, but they're forced to be. So in that environment, I sometimes have to deal with attitudes or lack of effort, or every now and then there's like bullying on a team, and I don't enjoy that at all. I think it's taking away from the positive aspects of the environment. So that is also something that I don't enjoy about the job. But again, that's minimal. And for every one kid that has a negative attitude, I've got 80 others that have a great attitude. So I try to keep, focus on the positive, and the negatives aren't too bad. The benefits, so being a small business owner, there are some really cool benefits, right? Like I make my own schedule. I can take vacation whenever I want, but at the same time, I have to close my business to do that, which means if I take vacation for 2 weeks, most likely it is going to be unpaid vacation, because I will have to close the gym unless I have an assistant or someone else that can run things for me, in which case I can take vacation and still make money, but I will spend most of that vacation checking in on that person and making sure everything is running smoothly, making sure everything has been set up beforehand and is concluded after the vacation. So vacation time is a tough one right now. The jobs at the schools, I'm off in the summer, so that's nice. I do really like the flexibility of making my own schedule, but at the same time, I have to work. Like I can't get sick and take 2 weeks off. Like I have to get up and go to work every day. The pay is fine. Everyone structures their business differently. I was always told, my dad owned a small business, and I was always told the first thing you need to do when you open a business is give yourself a salary and have a set salary that you're going to pay yourself no matter what. Make sure you pay yourself, because if you're not doing that, the whole thing is going to crumble. Retirement. So with owning my own business, all of the normal benefits that people get through a job, so things like health insurance, 401k, retirement plans, I have to do that myself, which is again something, it's kind of a negative because it comes out of my own pay. But at the end of the day, it's not that bad. Retirement plans, it's just a certain amount of money every year. You need to be disciplined enough to put that away because no one's doing it for you. Health insurance, you have to pay for yourself. It's just something you have to do. It's not the end of the world. There are programs and plans to make these things affordable for people like me. So yeah. And as far as like retirement, I haven't really thought into that too much. I'm sure my career position will shift some by then, maybe more into education at that point rather than actually being on my feet coaching every day. But that is something I'm trying to prepare for. Yeah, and as far as my plans when I do actually retire, I'd love to travel. Like I said, taking time off has been really tough. I played in Europe for 4 years, and that was like a really, really awesome experience for, to be around another culture and just to see another part of the world and live totally differently. And so I'd love to go back and do some more of that, hopefully before I retire, but definitely when I retire. Try new hobbies, get into different things. Right now, I don't have a ton of free time to have other hobbies and get into other things. So I'd love to do that when I retire. But at the same time, I'll probably still want to be involved in coaching in some form. So I'll probably still want to teach or volunteer or do something like that to stay involved in athletics. It's been such a big part of my life. I'm sure that will remain a big part of my life. But, I'm pretty young. I haven't thought too much about retirement yet. I'm definitely trying to plan for it financially and then see where I'm at when that time comes. The most important thing I've learned, and I knew this going into it, it's just been emphasized throughout and reinforced throughout, is just to be a decent human being. Make genuine connections, be genuine when you meet someone, have their best interest at heart, be willing to be selfless. If someone can't pay full price and you still want to train them for half price. Like, you'll make that up somewhere else down the road. Just be genuine, be open, be honest. Don't try to screw someone over. Be fair in your prices, fair in what you're willing to do without getting taken advantage of, and everything always works out. It will always balance out. If you're doing someone a favor, it will come back in some form at some point in time. I do have some social media accounts if you guys are on social media. The Instagram is probably the one I use the most, and that is EB Athletics LLC. Being one of the few females in this field, that's been an interesting ride for me because there's just not many of us out here doing it, which is to me an advantage to work with more girls and have girls trust me and getting into the weight room for the first time. Thank you.